Jai Shri Ram. In the Bhagavad Gita, one shloka is a favorite of all Hindu baiters. Now, a baiter means a person who unreasonably criticizes, unfairly criticizes. So, Hindu baiters, all these, there are, I have seen there are some groups, they call themselves ex Hindu atheists. As if they know what is Hinduism, as if they already have understood the Bhagavad Gita fully. So these are misguided missiles who get carried away by the atrocity literature churned out by Christian and Islamic apologists, and also your communists, Marxists, who spend all their time trying to distort Hindu scriptures, even introduce interpolations, and try to somehow mislead the naive Hindu so that he can be made into an anti-national, anti-Hindu, and perhaps even easily converted to the Abrahamic religions. So this shloka 932, 9th chapter 32nd shloka is one of the favorites. I call it the favorite whipping boy verse. Now the word whipping boy means a scapegoat. In olden days, the teacher of a king's son did not have the courage to scold or administer mild corporal punishment to the prince, because if he even lightly canes that fellow, the king might punish the teacher severely. So the teacher cannot have the courage to punish the prince. Therefore, I believe they introduced a new tradition. There was a boy who was hired to receive the beatings of the prince. so, so that fellow used to vicariously suffer indirectly. So this kind of stupidity. This is in fact a theory and a kind of superstition which then later got transformed into animal sacrifice. Animal sacrifice basically is not there in Hinduism at all. There is no animal sacrifice, no meat eating at all. Vedas are completely against it. But many rascals have distorted it, and many Hindus are unfortunately still eating meat. If you are a Hindu, you should not eat meat. Because Veda says, Pashun pahi, antakaya go ghatam, goshu bhaktascha labhate, yadyadichhati manavaha. So, Gavo Vishwasya Mataraha. Entire suktas in Rigveda are glorifying Gaumata. So, Gaumedha is not slaughtering of cows at all. Gaumedha means agriculture. Gaumedha also means control of one's senses. So, unfortunately, many Hindus are not aware of this. So, as a result of all these distortions introduced by Christian apologists, Muslim, Islamic apologists, and Marxist writers, they have only one single pointed agenda: to mislead the Hindu by distorting the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita. Anyway, now Satyameva Jayate, isn't it? The truth alone triumphs. Satya परेशान हो सकता है पर पराजित नहीं हो सकता. So someday, sometime or the other, the whole world will learn the truth, and even these jokers will have to admit. Anyway, 932 is a shloka which is a favorite whipping boy verse of the Hindu baiters. With this shloka they have attacked, and you will see many people in several social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, you will find these Hindu baiters take this shloka to attack Sri Krishna and say that he is a misogynist, okay, one who hates mankind, women. Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepisyu papayonayaha striyo vaishyas tadha shudras tepiyanti parangatim. So 932. So mam in me, he certainly, partha, that is a matronymic of Arjuna. Partha is Kunti Devi is also known as Pritha. So Partha is a matronymic, the son of Pritha. Vyapashritya, take refuge. Ye, who, api, even, syu, maybe, papayonayaha, of low birth. Striya, women. Vaishya, the mercantile people. That is the third varna. Hmm? Tatha and Shudra, the manual workers, skilled workers. It is the Shudras who built the temples. Shudras are simply people who are manual workers and skilled workers. Uh, so this is the Varna system which exists in every society. The Varna system exists in every plant, in nature also, anyway, among metals and everywhere. So this is a very interesting subject. This has nothing like discrimination. But of course, these, like I said, Hindu baiters, all of them, I already named them. These Hindu baiters are very fond of using these words with which to attack and criticize Hinduism. So don't worry about that. Now, te api, even they, yanti go param, the supreme gatim, destination. So Krishna is saying, all those who take refuge in me, whatever be their birth, race, gender, or kulam. Remember, caste does not exist in Hinduism. We don't have caste. Caste is a Portuguese word which means class. In Hinduism, we have gotram, which means descent from a common male ancestor. Kulam, which means family profession. Jati, which means the bloodline, lineage, or family tree. Eh? And then you have what next? Varna. So Varna is the psychological temperament. MBTI, Myers-Briggs Typology Inventory, very famous in the Western world. In American schools and colleges also they administer this MBTI. MBTI is a typology, classification of human personality. They identified 48. But in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does not give you any specific number because it can be illimitable. Unlimited types of personalities are possible based on the combinations of the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. So the proportion of sattva, rajas, tamas determines the kind of varna, that is temperament, that you possess. So the typology as explained by Bhagavad Gita, as explained by Sri Krishna, is much more scientific, much more practical and realistic. So in Hinduism, remember, we don't have caste. What we have is gotram, which is scientific. You should not marry your sister. Sagotra marriages are not permitted because that will lead to recessive genes getting together and producing children who are retarded, or Down syndrome and autism and all other diseases get manifested. Therefore, the Y chromosome, you see, is transmitted from the male, and the female does not have the Y chromosome. So our rishis understood this even before microscopes were born, right? So we have a Gotra system, descent from a common male ancestor. That is why we don't marry our sisters. In other religions, they marry their own sisters, right? In the Bible, Abraham, their prophet, openly admits that he married his own sister Sarah, and he explains Sarah is his wife, and Abraham explains that Sarah is born of a different mother. So Abraham's father and Sarah's father were the same. The father had many wives, or I don't know how many wives. So Abraham declares that Sarah was born to his father but of a different mother. And so he married her. So, which is not allowed in Hinduism because it is unscientific, because it leads to dysgenics. Dysgenics means bad kind of breeding. That means poor quality offspring. Eugenics, Eugenics. Eugenics is the science of improving the quality of the race by selective breeding. So eugenics. So Hindu system is based on eugenics, which our rishis understood long ago, thousands of years ago, much before modern psychology and science was born. Whereas in other religions, they still continue with their dysgenics, and as a result, you see, there are lots of problems. I don't want to get into that now. So in Hinduism, remember, we don't have any caste. We have Gotram, which is scientific, and we have Kulam, family profession. The child will automatically pick up the skills of the trade to which his parents belong. And by the time the child is, a teenager, he would have mastered that trade. So Gurukulas used to exist based on the family kulam. And this was a wonderful system. That is why India was contributing to 35% of the world GDP around 1100. By 1700, when the Britishers entered, they broke the backbone of our education system, destroyed the Gurukulas, and today our contribution to the world GDP is less than 2%. So we should revive the Gurukula system. Anyway, so that is Kulam, family profession. That's also wonderful. Even now in Europe, many communities follow their family professions, and that is how they are economically independent. They don't have to depend on anybody. Okay, this stupid Macaulay education system has ruined our society now. There wouldn't have been any need for reservations if people had followed the Vedic system. Okay, because everyone would have been highly skilled in their particular area. Now we have Kulam, we have Jati. Jati is the family tree. Consanguinity or Gotram is an important concept within the Jati. Jati means the bloodline. And then Varna. Varna is the psychological temperament. Now the Sanskrit word Vri means to choose. You can choose within one family. There can be 4 children, and all 4 could be of different temperaments. That means one child could be having a Brahmin temperament, the other child Kshatriya temperament, another would be Vaishya temperament, and the last would be Shudra temperament. It doesn't mean that they are inferior or superior to each other. Each one has a different temperament, so he should be given a different kind of education so that he can excel in his trade, become financially independent, and arthakamas can be secured so that he can proceed on the path of dharma to achieve moksha. This is Purusharthas. This is how the whole Hindu system, the entire Hindu edifice is structured very, very scientifically, logically, rationally, spiritually. And there is no discrimination. No discrimination exists in the Vedas or in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Of course, discrimination exists in society. It was there then, and it is now, it is still there now. Thanks to great reformers like Ambedkar, and Krishna himself was a great reformer. Rama was a reformer. So we Hindus continuously produce reformers, because Hinduism is not any kind of a fixed religion. It is an open source religion. Ano bhadra kratavo yantu vishwataha. We invite good ideas from everywhere, and we are willing to constantly evolve. So if there is something more scientific, more uplifting, more exalted, more spiritual, we will imbibe that. So that is the Hindu psyche. That is the Hindu outlook, the Hindu Weltanschauung, the Hindu approach to life. So we welcome new ideas and good ideas. But if the idea is not good, we will discard it also. We are good debaters. Hindus by nature are excellent devil's advocates. Unfortunately, the current day Hindus have lost this ability, because for the sake of political correctness, they are blindly accepting anything and everything as good and making dumb statements that all religions are good, which is not true. All religions are not paths to God. Only Sanatan Dharma is the path to God. Others are actually leading to hell. And they have already created hell on earth, and finally after death also these rascals will go to hell only. Because if you have not read their books, then you will think, you will get offended at what I am saying. Anyway, I have not named anybody, right? So I have to be very careful, otherwise they will file cases against me. So again I gave you a ringside view of what is Hinduism and why Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma is the most scientific way of life. Okay. Now this verse we are talking about. Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepisyu papayonayah striyo vaishyas tatha shudras tepiyanti parangatim. So in this verse, Krishna says, all those who take refuge in me, whatever their birth, race, gender or caste, no caste anyway, kulam, even those whom society scorns, will attain the supreme destination. So actually this is such a wonderful shloka, we should praise it, but they have conveniently identified this as the whipping boy verse with which to thrash Hindus and assault Sri Krishna also, on the grounds that Krishna is misogynistic. He is declaring that women are papayonayaha. So now let us look at how to deal with this irrational criticism. These detractors unfortunately are first of all ignoramuses, because they have no knowledge of Sanskrit, no knowledge of Sanskrit in the Bhagavad Gita, and Vedic Sanskrit is even more difficult. They have absolutely no knowledge. They read, or they are reading, and they will continue to read distorted versions of the Vedas and Bhagavad Gita written by all the apologists of the Abrahamic cults, and the Marxist jokers are there. So you are reading a distorted translation and forming some distorted opinion of Hinduism. So what should we call you? A buffoon, a joker, and on top of it they want to argue also. Okay, now whom should you depend on to understand correctly? For example, I'll give you an analogy. Suppose somebody comes along and tells you, don't take anything personal here. Somebody comes along, some foreigner, outsider comes, interloper. Interloper means intruder, foreigner, outsider. He comes and tells you that your mother is a whore. Your mother is a whore. Are you going to quickly believe it? In fact, you will get angry if somebody says that. Now, who will you trust? Whether you will ask your mother herself, or you have seen your mother and you know what she is, or you will ask your father, okay, or you will ask your mother's mother and mother's father. So that is how you will decide, not based on what some idiot from outside has come, isn't it? This is the sad situation of many Hindus who have not studied the Bhagavad Gita, or not, they have not even studied the commentaries written by Ram Sukdas ji, Gita Press, Jayadayal Goyandka ji, Swami Mukundananda, Chidbhavananda, Ramakrishna Math, Vivekananda, Madhvacharya, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and Yogananda, Gita Makarandam Bai, Vidya Prakashananda. The list is innumerable. So many great scholars, they have written. Should you Sridhara Swami, Keshava Kashmiri, Rudra Sampradaya, Brahma, Bapre, the list is endless. Should we read interpretations written by these great scholars who were masters of Vedic Sanskrit and also Bhagavad Gita, or should we read some translation written by some idiot who has no knowledge of Sanskrit? The answer is simple: you should not read them, because they have an agenda. They want to bash Hinduism. They are Hindu bashers, Hindu baiters. Now, so even they, for example, a Muslim or a Christian, would he read a book? Suppose I write an interpretation of Bible or interpretation of Quran. Do you think a Muslim will read the book that I have written? No, he will reject it. He will return an interpretation written by an Islamic scholar. Now, why are Hindus reading? Because we are fools. We have become fools. We have been fed this nonsense called secularism. And because secularism is a funny word. Actually, secularism, Hinduism by nature, secularism is secular. Because Hinduism does not preach proselytization, no inquisitions, no holy wars, crusade or jihad, no murdering the infidel. So these are concepts which are very much there in Islam and Christianity. You can read their holy books. I have no hesitation in openly declaring that both Christianity and Islam are very clear. Only their people, that is their adherents, their devotees will go to heaven, and all the infidels, that is the unbelievers, will go to eternal hell. So therefore, to save them, these infidels have to be either proselytized or killed. Very simple. You can read their books. It is not in one place. In several places it is there. Now, these people who want to criticize Hinduism are either complete ignoramuses or hypocrites. They already know what is there, but they don't have the courage to criticize Christianity and Islam. And they want to criticize Hinduism because we are very tolerant. And unfortunately, many Hindus are not just tolerant. They have got misled by the nonsense written by these buffoons. And as a result, they are sitting ducks and vulnerable to be converted also. So this is another way of conversion. See, they converted using the sword and threat and intimidation. And for some people who are a little intelligent, the other methods are fooling them into thinking that their scriptures are actually bad and the right religion is Christianity or Islam. This is how we have many Sufi saints. They were also basically living up to the expectations that their holy books had of them, which is to spread their religion, proselytize the infidel, or kill. So they also used every method. multiple channels of conversion. So the same different strokes for different folks. That is what they are also implementing even today. For some intelligent people, they use all these, bhajans and Sufi songs and all that. Chap tilak sab chhini re mohe naina milai ke. Amir Khusru wrote this. This is a conversion song actually. In this song, he is directly insulting Brahmins, that the Brahmins have given up their chap and tilak, and Brahmins use a chap on their shoulders, the symbols, Ramanujacharya, Bhaktas, all that. Tilakam and all that. So all that Brahmins have given up and they have converted to Islam. So this is the subtext of that song. But even now we are listening and singing to it. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan sang it very well. Even now many Hindustani classical singers are singing this song. This song is an insult to every Hindu because this is a conversion song. So many people don't know this. See, that is the sad part, because we Hindus have lost our Hinduness. To be a Hindu, you must first be a good critical thinker. You will become one if you study Bhagavad Gita and understand Krishna and Rama. But instead of doing that, Hindus today are worshipping tombs and graves and getting misled. Now, I haven't yet started my counter for this. Okay, so first of all, I think I told you very clearly caste does not exist. And to counter this slokam, Papayonayaha means people who are born in a very, very vile womb, a sinful womb, which means insects, animals, and people who eat cow meat, they kill cows, eat beef, and malechas. Malechas are Papayona. That means they are unvedic in their lifestyle. They are not refined. And though they call themselves refined and call others jahil. Jahil means savage, barbaric. Actually, they themselves are jahil. This is the nature, you see. They commit all crimes and then claim that these crimes are actually being committed by the other fellow. This is the nature of the criminal. So anyway, now, when Vaishyas are already recognized as Dvija, twice born, how can Vaishyas be lumped as Papayonayaha? Simple question for which they won't have an answer. And Shudras are within the, Purusha Suktam also. Shudras are mentioned as originating from the feet of the Paramatma. Now originating, that's a metaphor actually. We all have originated, all Varnas have originated from the body. Now let us get down to the shloka. Striyo Vaishyas tadha Shudras tepi yanti parangatim. So, how do you counter their criticism? Now, first of all, first point, as a manner of speaking, when we speak, Krishna is saying that Stris, Vaishyas and Shudras, these are people who are so busy in their profession. And Stri, for example, the Vedas also says that for the Stri, serving her husband is the ultimate dharma. That means actually the life of the woman is very easy. It has been simplified. So, if a woman as a pativrata serves her husband dutifully, tries to even correct him, suppose the husband is not a person of good character, the lady has such a great responsibility to mold that fellow, and that is all that she needs to do in order to qualify for moksha. So that means the task for the woman has been greatly simplified, isn't it? So please think again, look at this is how I understand based on whatever is already there in the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita. There is a long list of counters I will give you. So first of all, the woman's life is so easy, at least achieving moksha becomes easier for the woman because biologically she has a bigger function of producing children which taxes her body and also her mind. So women tend to be more emotional, but they have great emotional insights also. So women quickly judge people. Now there is another shloka which I will discuss about, 1034, where Krishna is praising feminine virtues. Now if you look at that shloka and then you will realize why in this shloka, whatever is said about women is actually in a positive light, highlighting the fact that even women who don't have to take all the trouble of studying the Gita and the Vedas and all that, Vaishyas also, they can continuously apply themselves to the business. Shudras, they can keep doing their work. Because even in the 18th chapter, Krishna repeatedly says, Swe Swe Karmanya Abhirataha Samsiddhim Paramangataha. So people, if they simply do their duty, that is sufficient for them to qualify for moksha. So here Krishna is mentioning Striya. Now that is, if women, Vaishyas, Shudras, they keep doing whatever they are cut out to do and think of Krishna and understand Krishna Tattva and live the Bhagavad Gita, that is sufficient. Besides that, there are so many, I'll give you so many counters. Number 2. Now, Arjuna, now Krishna is actually talking to Arjuna, and we are all Arjunas in a way. We are also surrounded by many women who unfortunately get emotionally hijacked very fast because of the estrogen, because of the hormones. Even women who are aged, menopause and all those things are there. So the man, because of testosterone, is less likely to be affected physiologically because there is no estrogen or the female hormone. Now, if you look at Arjuna is surrounded by women who all have in many ways caused some stress for Arjuna. So Arjuna may have had a very poor and low opinion about women in general. So therefore, Krishna used this. This is a manner of speaking. Even women can also. So that is how it is. It doesn't mean that women are in any way considered inferior and Papa Yonaya. That is disgusting. That is because, now the third point. If you look at the Vedas, what does the Veda teach you? Matru Devo Bhava. So, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. Who's first? Matru Devo Bhava. That's one more point. And if you look at Manusmriti, now many rascals hate Manusmriti. They've burnt the Manusmriti. There are more than 60 versions of Manusmriti in the market, all distorted. The original one is available with Arya Samaj, Shuddha Manusmriti. Right? So all interpolated Manusmritis are there in the market. Okay, they have burnt it, very good. They have burnt an interpolated Manusmriti, that is good. But let them try burning Bible or the Quran and then see what will happen. It's easy to burn Hindu holy books because we don't mind. So I'm not an agent of Krishna or Rama or Manu for that matter, or Brahman. So if they, of course, we will not tolerate things if they go beyond a point. The law is also available, like section 295, 153A. We can also file cases. Okay. So now, if you look at Manu says, Upadhyayan Dashacharya, Acharyanam Shatam Pita, Sahasrantu Pitrun Mata Gauravena Atirichyate. Upadhyaya is a teacher who teaches 1 or 2 subjects. Upadhyayan Dasacharya. Dasha. Upadhyaya raised to the power of 10 is equal to Acharya. Acharya means something like a HOD who can teach many subjects, who can teach you about all the acharas and customs and traditions, who is very knowledgeable, who has mastered the Vedas and all. Acharyanam Shatam Pita. So the father, Acharya raised to the 100 is equivalent to your father. That is the respect your father should be given. And Sahasrantu Pitrun Mata. So father raised to the power of 1000. Gauravena Atirichyate. Sahasrantu Pitrun Mata Gauravena Atirichyate. That means the mother deserves more respect than the father raised to the power of 1000. More. So this is the respect, veneration, reverence that Vedas instills in us for our mother. Because the mother is the first teacher. See, even if your father is a great genius, The child spends more time with the mother. So if the mother is an idiot, then she will infect the child with her stupidity. So women's education was always considered important, and for that matter, second point now, fourth or fifth point, I've lost count. You keep noting. See, that is why Hinduism is the only religion which has got female prophets. 40 or more rishikas are there out of the total 400. Okay, the number is less. Because women have always had other duties to take care of. That is why the Veda says, women's task is easy, just take care of your husband. That is sufficient for you. We will give you moksha. That is what Krishna is saying. Are Baba, you are getting full reservation and then you are complaining. What kind of an idiot are you? So, rishikas are there. Female prophet, show me one female prophet in the other religions. No. Female deities are there. Show me one female deity in Islam and Christianity. No. And in fact, they are very extremely misogynistic. If you read the books, then you will understand. If you have not, then I am sorry. Now, on top of it, in the Hindu religion, if you look at the entire pantheon of Hindu gods, the feminine deity's name comes before the consort, before their consort. That is why Sitaram, Parvati, Parameshwarulu, Radha, Krishna. So this is how the names are. So what more evidence? So one more point I gave you. Next, Manu also says, Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devataha. So, yatra naryastu pujyante. You know this shloka, you heard this. I am reading it out for you. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devataha. Yatre tastu na pujyante. Sarvas tatra afalakriyaha. Yatre tastu na pujyante. Sarvas tatra afalakriyaha. So, wherever women are honored, divinity blossoms there. And wherever they are dishonored, all action, all activity, no matter how wonderful, noble it might be, it remains unfruitful. So, जिस कुल में नारियों की पूजा अर्थात सत्कार होता है, उस कुल में दिव्य गुण, दिव्य भोग और उत्तम संतान होते हैं. और जिस कुल में स्त्रियों की पूजा नहीं होती, जिस कुल या जिस जाति, जिस प्रजाति में, जिस सोसाइटी में नहीं होती, वहाँ जानो उनकी सब क्रियाएं निष्फल रह जाती हैं. सो व्हाट ए वंडरफुल. यत्रेतास्तु न पूज्यन्ते सर्वास तत्र अफला क्रिया. यत्रेतास्तु न पूज्यन्ते सर्वास तत्र अफला क्रिया. सर्वास तत्र अफला क्रिया. You must अफला क्रिया. You must memorize this. So now the next one, next counter. Please listen carefully. I've lost count. I think maybe this is the sixth counter now. Now in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.18, please look up. Go to Google, 5.5.18. Fifth canto, 5th chapter, 18th verse. Rishabhadeva, who's a part incarnation of Krishna, he says, Gururna sasyat, swajanona sasyat, pitana sasyat, jananina sasyat, daivanna tasyan, patischa sasyan, daivanna tasyan, patischa sasyan, na mochayet samupeta mrutyum. Now, what does this shloka mean? Very simple. This shloka says, one who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death, na mochayet samupeta mrutyum. Na mochayet, cannot deliver. Mochayet means deliver, can deliver. Na mochayet, cannot deliver. One who cannot deliver, samupeta mrutyum. Samupeta mrutyum is a term which describes one who is on the path of repeated birth and death. So the person who is on the repeated path of nitya samsari, that fellow is called one who is a samupeta mrutyum. So he is constantly revolving in the vicious cycle, the downward cycle of repeated birth and death. So one who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master. Gurur na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, never become a relative. That means don't even get into any relationship at all. Pita na sasyat, once that is said, in fact everything else is covered. For the sake of poetic requirements, phonetic aesthetics, This shloka is completed like this. Pita nasasya, you should not become a father. Janani, never become, you should not become a mother. Should not even become a worshipable demigod. You can't even become a demigod. So you can actually ascend to the level of a demigod. That's the meaning here. All of us can become Indras. All of us, this is Krishna's bureaucracy. So anyone can be eliminated. Even if you are a Shudra, you can be elevated. You can fall from the post of the Indra to the level of the peon. So that's also there. Daivam na tasyan na patischa. Not, you should not even become the father or the husband. Namochayet, if you cannot. So I'm reading again the meaning. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.18. Can there be any greater moral responsibility than this? Every human being, Sanatana Dharma is telling you, Krishna is telling you, Rishabhadeva is his part incarnation, that don't ever even become a woman or a mother or a wife or a husband or a guru or a relative. That ends all the discussions. All, relationships are now subsumed under this one shloka. Guru na sasyat, svajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat, daivam na tasyat, na patischa sasyat, na mochayet samupeta mrityum. So, one who cannot deliver his dependents from the path, repeated path of birth and death, should never become a guru, father, husband, mother, relative, or even demigod. Which means a woman has so much responsibility. Now, is a woman a papayonayaha? If she had been, or Vaishya had been, in fact, this shloka is telling every human being, okay? So, which means Vaishyas are also worthy, Shudras are also worthy of moksha. The condition is you must make every effort to uplift everyone, not just love thy neighbor. Uplift thy neighbor. Simply love thy neighbor and then try to convert him or kill him, that is nonsense. Here we are saying, uplift thy neighbor. Ensure that he becomes eligible for moksha. No conversion, no inquisition, no torture, no killing of infidel. So, is this not a higher moral value? Can there be any greater moral responsibility than this? Now we are going to the next point. I think it is 7. Now, in the very same Bhagavad Gita, the 7th counter. In fact, you can use this as the first counterpunch. Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter 34th verse. Mrutyus sarvaharaschaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirtir srirvakcha narinam smrutir medha dhruti kshama. Now please listen very, very carefully. What is Krishna saying? Mrutyu, death, sarvahara, devouring all, cha and aham, I, udbhava, origin, cha and bhavishyatam, those things or creatures or beings that are yet to be. Kirti, fame, good reputation. Shri, opulence, great wealth. Wealth of all kinds. Now, wealth does not mean only money. And Shri also means beauty. Vak, fine speech, eloquent speech, the ability to speak sweetly and convincingly, logical speech, rational speech. Cha and Narinam, amongst feminine qualities, among women. These are feminine qualities. Smriti, memory. Now, not just your RAM and memory of being the eternal companion of Sri Krishna. Now, we are not talking about memory pertaining to the earthly existence. Krishna is not talking about just that. This smriti also includes, because Arjuna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nashto moha smritir labdha. Nashto moha smritir labdha. So, Nashto moha smritir labdha. Arjuna says, 1873, please make a note, 1873, Nashto moha smritir labdha tvatprasadan mayachyuta sthitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanantava. So the impact of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is actually saying, oh Achyuta, infallible. Achyuta means one who is infallible, who will not fall, who will not change, who will not make mistakes. And there are no concessions here. His rules are very strict. Oh infallible one, by your grace. Grace is again a very weak Christian term. By your anugraham, which is a very much more exalted, sophisticated spiritual concept. by your anugraham, my illusions and delusions have been dispelled, and now I am firmly situated in knowledge, which is that I am the Jivatma. That is the Vedic mantra. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam ruksham parishasvajate tayoranyah pippalam swadvati anashnannanyo abhichakashiti. The Veda. Mundakupanishad, I think 1.1.13. Anyway, so the Vedas is telling us about the parable of the two birds. The parable of the two birds, which means the Veda is saying, Prakrutim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi. Krishna said this in the Bhagavad Gita. That means we Jivatmas are all eternal companions, and Jivatmas are not created by God or Krishna, Rama. Okay. Why? We are all parallel lines. There are three eternities. One is Prakriti, Purusha. That means Uttama Purusha, Parama Purusha. We are Ishwaras of the body. He is Parameshwara. He is the Lord of the entire universe. So these three, Jivatma, Paramatma and Prakriti, are eternal verities. Okay. So why do nobody knows who has created us. He has not created us. We are parallel lines. Why? That means the Vedic rishis are accepting that we don't know. It's an agnostic position. The logic is very simple. The spiritual logic, or in fact commonplace logic. See, in Islam and Christianity, they say that God made man by, squeezing some mud or clay or dust and, infusing. He breathed, he blew and he started breathing, and that story is there. Creationism myth is there. And they say that God made man in his own image. Now, this is a fundamentally flawed statement, because if God made us in his own image, then we should be perfect, because God is perfect, right? God can't be having any blemishes, na? So, he is perfect. He is perfect in every sense. Omniscient, omnipresent, he is omnibenevolent, omnipotent, he is providential. All these positive adjectives you can apply only to God. So, if God is perfect, if something is made in his image, that image should also be perfect, isn't it? But are we perfect? We are not. We are imperfect. Therefore, if you still insist, no, we were made, then the God must have been imperfect, which is again not acceptable. Therefore, the Vedic rishis have understood that we have absolutely no idea why we are like this, but they conceded that we are eternal companions of Krishna. That is why the mantra occurs. So what a wonderfully spiritually elevating concept. We are eternal friends. Krishna is sitting right on top of the tree, and you and I are like birds jumping on the lower branches, eating sometimes sweet fruits and sometimes suffering. Life is, like that. The vagaries and vicissitudes of life are taking us up and down. We are on a trough, and next day we are on top of the crest. And so this thing is going on. We are suffering, but we are never looking back at Krishna. And Krishna is hoping that someday we will look up at him and then join him at the top. That means we can be immersed but detached. You should be in the world, do your duty but detached. So then you can eventually get moksham and join Krishna right at the top of the tree of creation. So what a wonderful... I don't know if this is true, but this ideology, this thought, this concept, this dogma, if you call it, exalts us, makes us better human beings. When you say that all of us are birds sitting, actually, originally we were all sitting with Krishna right on top. That means all of us are equal, spiritually equal. Where is the question of discrimination now, you bloody idiot? Right now, at the ground level, discrimination is there. It was there, will be there, is there right now. That is naturally... hierarchies are there. Nature abhors equality. Taratamyas, levels, grades on the hierarchy are always there. You can't deny that. You can't pay the general manager and the class 4 employee the same salary. No, they also don't have the same responsibilities. But each one's job is important. Each one is a cog in the wheel. If one spoke is spoiled, the wheel becomes weaker. Isn't it? So that is what Hinduism is trying to teach us. So here Krishna is exalting women as capable of having this kind of memory. That is, knowledge that we are originally companions of Krishna, eternal companions. So that is why you see women do a lot of puja in Hindu homes. They have much greater Shraddha. Faith again is a silly Christian concept. Faith simply means accepting something blindly without checking. It's blind faith actually. You can't even ask questions. If you ask questions, they will kill you. That is apostasy or blasphemy and all that. Whereas Shraddha, Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Drudha Vishwaso Shraddha. Shankaracharya defined it. Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Drudha Vishwasa. See, Vedas are the truth. There is no superstition anywhere. Vedanta is the distilled essence of the Vedas. Guru means one who eliminates darkness. Today, there are so many buffoons. Jatilo mundi, lunchita kesha, kashayambara, bahukrita vesha, pashyannapina, pashyati mudha, udara nimittam bahukrita vesha. All kinds of buffoons and jokers are claiming to be gurus, and many naive Hindus are following them. Guru means one who can eliminate darkness. Can these people? No. No. So now this is the praise that Krishna is showering on women. These are all feminine qualities. These are not masculine qualities. And some idiot is now saying Krishna is misogynistic. Hare Baba, Krishna seems to be supporting a matriarchal society now. Now we men should protest. Sir, what is this? We are now going to be exploited because you are supporting matriarchal. And those fools are saying it is patriarchal. Baba, forget patriarchal. This is matriarchal. We are going to be exploited. And Medha, intelligence. Again, Krishna is saying Medha is a feminine quality. You know why? Your intelligence will grow only if you are calm, peaceful, emotionally controlled, and quietly do your work. If you are agitated, disturbed, angry, aggressive, which is actually a masculine quality, your intelligence will not grow. So Krishna is again giving you a very clear-cut answer. Intelligence is a feminine quality. So intelligence will grow only if you have this feminineness within you. You must be psychologically androgynous, not physically. And dhriti, courage. You see, even in our Puranas, Satyabhama, she fought. When Krishna was in a daze. Krishna getting into a daze is a lila. So Dasharatha, Kaikeyi ensured that the chariot did not, she put her finger, I believe, into the wheel or whatever, otherwise the chariot would have fallen off, whatever, she probably held it. So Kaikeyi. So you have Jhansi Lakshmi Bai. Hare Baba, courage. What is that famous quote in English? Hell has no fury like a woman scorned. So once a woman gets angry, she will become like Kali, Durga. All the biggest demons will flee. So Dhruti, Kshama, forgiveness. So the mother forgives. Women by nature will forgive you once you seek their, compassion. When you apologize and you say, okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to be. The mother instinct is always there. They will forgive you. So Krishna is saying, I am the all-devouring death and I am the origin of those things that are yet to be. And among feminine qualities, I am fame, prosperity, fine speech, memory, intelligence, courage and forgiveness. And who is that rascal who is saying, Krishna is saying, women are papayonaya? किस जूते से मारूं तेरे मुंह पे? आंसर देने की जरूरत नहीं है. Jai Shri Ram. In fact, I can go on and tell you, Krishna protected women. Draupadi was saved by Krishna. All the males failed. Krishna was always ready as the knight in shining armor, saving the damsels in distress. Even the fantastic tales that say that Krishna had 16,108 wives. Actually, the Veda itself says that all these are Vedic verses. Richaha. They are reborn. Upanishads were reborn as gopis. And actually, if you read the Mahabharata, to understand Krishna, you must read Harivamsham, Mahabharatam. Harivamsham, which is the Akhila, annexure 20,000. Vishnu Puranam, Srimad Bhagavatam. Bharatam, Mahabharatam, Harivamsham, Vishnu Puranam, Bhagavatam. Unless you read all of them, you will not get a full picture of who is Krishna. And without knowing the person, if you simply read the Bhagavad Gita, then you are likely to distort it. So, this I don't want to explain any further. You see, Shankam Tirthamlo Ninche Ravali. So, similarly, words that come out of the mouth of a rascal, however good they are, they won't carry the impact. So what Krishna says has to be understood in the light of what the Vedas said, because the Bhagavad Gita is in essence, quintessence of the Vedas. And to understand Krishna, you have to read all these other scriptures. So you haven't done that, and unfortunately, even these scriptures are fully interpolated. So you can, if you are truly a scholar, then you can quickly identify the interpolations. So all these, and Mahabharata mentions only Rukmini as Krishna's wife. Radha doesn't occur anywhere in Mahabharata, Harivamsham. In Bhagavatam, Anaya Radhita is just one name of one gopi is mentioned just once. And Bhagavatam also no Radha, Vishnu Purana no Radha. Only in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, which is a later concocted Puranam written during the Mughal time, obviously paid by the Mughals to defame Krishna. But nevertheless, ISKCON people and Gaudiya Mat people, they are using that because we are bhakti oriented. Even if a Mlecha writes a kavyam on Krishna, we will take the milk. You see, we are like Hamsas. The Hindu is like the Hamsa. That is why Krishna, I don't mind. You can write a lot of nonsense and some good things also you will put, because otherwise the book will not sell. I will take what is good and keep going ahead. That is why in Uttara Gita Krishna says, Ananta Shastram Bahuveditavyam Alpascha Kalam Bahavascha Vignaha Yatsara Bhutam Tadupasitavyam Hamso Yada Kshiramivambu Mishram. The scriptures, Hindu scriptures are Anantam. Ananta Shastram Bahu Veditavyam. There is too much to know. Alpascha Kalam. Time is very limited. You don't know when you are going to kick the bucket in Kali Yugam. 50 years people are dying. Alpascha Kalam. Bahavascha Vigna. Lot of obstacles. So many other things we have to do. Daily duties. You have to feed yourself. Take care of the family. Abhe kab padega Ved? Abhe haule. And these rascals are criticizing Krishna. अरे इनको तो कुछ भी नहीं मालूम, हमने फिर भी थोड़ा पढ़ लिया. Bhavascha Vigna, so many obstacles, because even if you sit down to read, the world will disturb you and prevent you from studying even a single verse of Bhagavad Gita. Bhavascha Vigna, Yat Sarabhutam Tadupasitavyam. Therefore, Krishna is saying, take only the essence. Like the Hamsa. What does the Hamsa do? The spiritual Hamsa. If water and milk are mixed, it will take the milk and leave the water alone. So be proactive. Take what is good and essential and keep going, marching forward. Don't be reactive. Don't complain. Stephen R. Covey will also support it. Incidentally, Stephen R. Covey is also a Krishna Bhakta. So finally, I think it has taken nearly 1 hour now. I don't know, 52 minutes, isn't it? Yes. So I am very happy I made this effort. And remember, we are all doing PhD in Bhagavad Gita. Remember 932. Please make notes. Write down all the points I have told you. I will also try doing that, so that we are ever ready. Whenever next time you find a Malecha or some idiot trying to criticize Krishna and say that in 932 Krishna is saying women are Papayonayaha, we must be ready with all our missiles, like Israel is bombing, they have completely leveled Gaza Patti. So we should level the Mlecha Pattis with all the missiles that I have provided you now. Bolo Jai Shri Ram.